Welcome to the Mindset Unleashed Today podcast. My name is Tommy Gucciardo, and I'm excited to share my insights and experiences with you to help you shift your mindset and improve your life. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring different areas of life, discussing how to make positive changes. Now, I'll be doing this by interviewing guests who can provide additional perspectives and their experiences. I believe that by making a mindset shift, we can all unleash our full potential and create the lives we want to live. I hope you'll join me on this journey. How you doing? I'm Tommy Gucciardo, and I want to welcome you back to the Mindset Unleashed Today podcast. I want to talk about, well, like it is in my title, mindset, right? Everybody talks about mindset. Everybody has philosophies about mindset. I want to talk about a growth mindset, right? And I think that's something really important to have. And, what is a growth mindset? To me, that's about believing, even if your skills aren't up to par, with effort, you can get there, right? You're not set, your abilities aren't set in stone. And, I think for me, that's what the kind of mindset I need to have on a daily basis, right? Because I'm always a constant work in progress. I'm always, constant motion. And in some ways, and some characteristics of a growth mindset, I incorporate on a daily basis, right? And sometimes I become fixed, and my mindset is fixed. But for the most part, I like to, think of myself with a growth mindset. And what does that look like for me, right? A lot of times in life, people look at failures as, failures. Well, that's what they are, that you failed, right? For me, I take learning experiences from every failure I have, whether it a business dealing, whether it a business relationship, whether it, a personal relationship, whether it, it could be anything. It could be a friendship relationship. It could be anything, right? You could fail at anything. But what happens when you fail, right? You have to learn from those failures. You have to gain something from that. Understand why did that fail? Was it you? Was it them? Was it a combination? Did I not do the right thing? Did I not do enough due diligence? It could be a myriad of things, but if you don't learn from them and find out what happened, you're never going to be successful. Because what's going to happen the next time when you're in that same situation? You're going to fall back to that failing mentality and that failure and say, I failed before. This is the recipe to the failure. Let me just fail, right? That's the way your mind's going to go. But if you learn from it and you're aware of what happens, you have a better shot of being successful. So the first thing for me, I want to learn from my mistakes. Number one. Number two, part of that is, the second part of learning from my mistakes is take feedback from others, right? During that way, whatever the process was, whether it a failed business opportunity, find out from other people. Ask other people in the business community. I did this, and this happened. What would you have done? What would you have done differently? Even with a relationship, ask another girl. This is what I did. What would you have done in that situation, right? So you learn and you get feedback from that, and that's the way you're going to grow, right? And the other part, I think, is asking for help when you don't know anything. I was big for most of my life is I'm right about everything. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. And what did that get me? A lot of failures, right? Divorces, bad business decisions, jails, drugs, and so for me, I have to take feedback today, right? And I also have to ask people when I don't know things, right? And let them help me and help them guide me in the right direction so I can change, so I can be better, and my mindset can grow, right? Because if I'm not asking, if I'm not learning, how am I growing? And that's very important. The growth is very important. That's why it's a growth mindset, because you're learning every single day from every step of the way, right? And sometimes we don't see the growth, right? Because we're always moving so fast and we don't take time to see the growth. So, another thing that I try to do is I look at improvements during the way, right? If I'm trying to do something, whether it a project at work, let me take little small bite-sized pieces out of that. Let me learn. Let me keep understanding what the process is, and see the improvements. Because when you see the improvements, it's easier to keep moving forward. When you're stuck in a process or when you're stuck in anything, when there's no improvement, or you don't think there's improvement, or you put high expectations on something that you totally can't hit, and there's no little improvements along the way, you're never going to complete that project, right? And those are important things. Another thing that that I think about on a daily basis is you have to change your vocabulary, right? And I think you have to put the word "yet" into it, because a lot of times I hear people say, "I can't do that right now," or "I don't know how to do that. I can't follow through," right? So maybe you change it to, "I haven't got that yet. I will get that soon," or "I am working on it," instead of saying, "I can't do this," right? If you change your vocabulary and you change the way you think about things, things you start manifesting these things. Our minds play tricks on us. And if we let that happen, and we keep on letting that happen, we're not going to grow, and you're not going to learn, and you're not going to get better. So, for me, I just take things a little at a time. I bite off little pieces, and they become big pieces after a while, right? And the things start falling into place. It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to stop whatever you're doing. Just take little bite-sized pieces. When you're wrong, or when you're not understanding something, or when you're at a brick wall, ask for help. Asking for help is not a failure. Asking for help is helping yourself get to the next level, right? Is to get to wherever you want to be, and I hope that I try to do this, I try to instill this in other people also. That's why I do this podcast, This is not about anything but helping people understand that you're not alone, right? You're not alone. And if we can start, slowly, if you can get one thing out of what I said today, if one thing made sense to you, learning from your mistakes and taking feedback, great, take it and run with it. Is it, changing your vocabulary around to positive words? Whatever it is, I hope you get something out of this, right? That is my goal of this, and it also helps me get better on a daily basis. It also teaches me where I'm failing, because a lot of times these topics are things that I struggle with, or I did struggle with at one point, and my mindset is a big part of that. And that's why I named it Mindset Unleashed today. Because when we open up that mindset, the world is ours. The world is ours. You can do whatever you want to do with your life. And with a growth mindset, if you're constantly learning, if you're constantly changing, and you're constantly getting better, you can accomplish anything you want in this world. Like I said, I hope you got something out of this today. That is my from my heart, that's what I want, and the only way that we could spread this out to more people and more people could see this, is by liking, and it's only organically, right? So we have to like, we have to subscribe, we have to go out there and comment and share this with other people. So please, if you could do some of those things, that'd be greatly appreciated. Until next week, I'm signing off, and I hope to see you, and I hope you have a great week. Thank you very much.